What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today we are taking a look at men are trash. Women trash, and pretty much just really looking at what's causing this huge bridge, this gap between men and women, and trying to figure out where it goes from here, or at the very least, hoping to help people realize that there are significant differences. But yeah, let's get into some of the video clips. This is gonna be a short one. Do not want to go into this like way too long, and it's just one of those things that I think it's something that's really valid to talk a point, as I said before. Here we go.
I don't want to sound like an asshole, man, but I don't do shit for the express pleasure of women, man. It's a waste of time. It's way more important to protect her than to please her. Who gives a fuck about a woman's orgasm? It's useless.
Right.
Do it if it happens, awesome. If it don't, like, all right, well. So,
Wait. Before we get into this next one, I'm at a loss. So you said just fuck a woman's orgasm, like whatever. Like, okay, look, that first and foremost is going to be one of those situations where I'm gonna have to say, look, man, I can't agree with that by any means. And now, I know there's a lot of shit that's happened with those guys, whatever, and I'm not even here to talk about them and some of the ideas that they have or whatever, because that'd be a 2-3 day video. But the fact is, when it comes down to like the physical, the sexual of it, I'm sorry. I'm one of I mean, tell me I'm wrong here, but I'm one of them dudes. I'm trying to I want to feel that like super tight where she almost trying to bear hug you because you got her down. I'm talking leaking and about to pass the fuck out. Body tingling, done froze up in every way, done caught her breath like she was a little kid who just got slapped in the mouth by his grandma. Old face going the whole 9 yards. Like, that's one of those things that, like, as as a man, I think we got to look at it and be like, hey, I did my job. I did my job well. All right. You know what? Because I'm not one of them people. I'm like, don't do that whole faking shit. If you faking, we got a real problem. Straight up. There is nothing like, when it comes to sex, more beyond, I mean, hell, when you buzz, you just like, oh my God. Like, but to make her do it and to have her stuck looking at you like, oh yeah, you a real one, or God damn, like, what did you just do to me? And I don't care if it's a moment of like, look, I just met you an hour or so ago, and you might become addicted to the dick. Like, I don't give a damn if it's that, or if it's a situation of, this is my woman. But when it's your woman, it's one of them situations where it's just like, when it gets stuck in her mind and she feels it all in her body, and no matter what, just like touching her instantly turns her on. I think as a man, that's one of the things that kind of let you know you did your job. But anyway, on to the wow. All right.
Men are trash. Hinders or helps the relationship between men and women?
No.
No. What do you mean no?
No.
It does,
Definitely
because
not.
I think it reminds them. It's an awareness, exactly. It reminds them that they need to step up to the plate.
I think they're very aware.
When people hear men are trash, they usually assume that we're talking about, oh, men are cheaters, or men are liars, or men are dogs.
Which they are.
So what do you think? What does that mean?
That's not what it's about.
Okay, what is that about?
It's about acknowledging their place in society and telling them
patriarchal angle that they have played.
One, I don't think.
Hold up. So first and foremost, and that's it right there. Men are trash. Like, then you come off with the recognizing their place in society, like kind of saying, like, you know what, this is your place. You need to stay in this place in society. I seem to remember a great deal of times where, individuals have been told, well, this is supposed to be your place in society. Doesn't work out well. But then to go on and say the things that you've done based on the patriarchal basis and the things that you've done. I'm sorry, not all men fall within this patriarchy that you so prevalently speak of, that people so like grandly want to over dramatize in such manners that that's obscene. But I'm gonna let her keep on going. We'll get back to it.
They are necessarily saying, "Oh, men are trash. You all suck. You must die." Like, no, it's not that deep.
Actually, some people do say that. Some people do say that.
But
That
I
one
think
there.
when they say men are trash, it's
We're not gonna go there.
as a patriarchal group and society, like you said, as a whole, men do a lot of trash things.
The fuck out of here. As a patriarchal group, society as a whole, all men do trash things. I think women do a lot of trash things. We can certainly list those off. We see them time and time again nowadays, more so when men finally come and speak about them, or when the court has to deem the fact that a woman has done something trashy. I think you know exactly what I'm talking about when I speak on that right there. But again, I want to let them go ahead and finish, get through this.
Why do we have to say men are trash? Why
Because
can't
they
we
want to
say
acknowledge their privilege,
can't you
which
do-
is trashy behavior.
Yeah, but
they're not the ones who are going through domestic abuse. They're not the ones who are being raped. They're not the ones who are being catcalled. They're not the ones who are having to, fear for their life every time they walk down a road around, 10 p.m.
Okay, bullshit. I call bullshit on the greater amount of things that she said right there. To say that men don't get domestically abused, well, that's bullshit. Men just don't speak on it. It's not all over the news. It's not prevalent in the news. And a greater deal of time, yes, again, men don't speak on it because of the fact that, looking at it from a standpoint of society, it's laughed off. We have a case that's going on right now. No matter how the outcome of it is, no matter whose side you're on in that situation, which only proves even more so how much of a joke the law is, because whatever. We'll get into that in another video, because there's a lot to be said about the way that the law is structured. But to have the audacity to sit there and say that men aren't going through these things so callously, it's untrue. A greater deal of men go through it. You just don't know about it because it's not brought up. It's not put out there in the media. Most men don't have the resources, the time, or the want to actually put themselves out into the world in that manner, because it is laughed at. It's frowned upon a greater deal of time. It's been frowned upon essentially your whole entire life, because as a young man, you're taught that you are supposed to be strong and you're supposed to stand up and you're supposed to be this individual that can deal with these certain types of things. And, women don't beat men. You're the stronger one. It's untrue. When she says that men don't get the R word, let's just call it that, we all know that that's not true yet again. When she talks about walking down the street at 10 at night, well, guess what? I'm sorry. The actual fact and truth behind that statement right there, and there is literal evidence to prove this, is that men should be more afraid than a woman is walking down the street at 10 o'clock at night, especially, and I hate even going this route with it, but it's a fact, being a black man. Being a black man walking down the street at 10 at night, oh shit. The cops might roll up on you. Woo, what are you doing out here? I'm taking a damn walk. Being a black man walking down the street at 10 at night, all of a sudden you've got people looking out their windows wondering what you're doing, coming outside. Hey, why are you in our neighborhood? You don't live around here. You're not supposed to be here. And the list goes on and on with the things that are, that can potentially come out of an individual's mouth, being a man walking down the street at night at 10 p.m. But even more so, more crime happens man on man. To actually get jumped, beat up in the, on someone's block, whether you're a part of something or not. Male violence happens at a greater extent to other males. It's just not put out there. It's kind of accepted, and it's not necessarily okay, but it's pushed aside as though it really doesn't matter, as though it is okay for that type of violence to happen.
I don't bash men saying that y'all ain't shit because y'all really aren't shit, but like it's just really telling y'all to hold yourselves accountable. We have to hold ourselves accountable. When I was like 5, 6, starting out like 5 years old, I had to hold myself accountable. I had to excuse me, I'm sorry, y'all. All right. I had to hold myself accountable. I had to be a lady. I had to be quiet. I had to be kept. I had to watch what I say. I couldn't, I had to wear a skirt. I didn't have the opportunity to make choices as a human being.
The fuck out of here. Hold up. 5 years old. Wait, I gotta fit what?
And it's not fair that men can live up until they're 25 and they actually want to get serious with a woman, and she's telling you, okay, this is what you need to do just to be a decent person.
Oh, it's not fair. It's not fair. First off, you speak about being 5 years old, and I'm wondering, like, are these kids, like, are they doing it? They have to be adults. But if that is your basis to try and stand on, you got some rocky fucking foundation right there. 5 years old, I'm sorry. Yes, that is the point in time where you learn that there are rules, or a greater deal of times you learn that there are rules and things and guidelines that you have to abide by. You honestly learn it earlier than that, but that's when psychologically people tend to believe that it more so sinks into a child's mind. Responsibilities, right and wrong. It's about at the age of 5. I'm sorry, but yeah, you didn't have the right to make specific decisions on your own because of the fact that you were a child. Your parents make decisions for you. That's what it is. What are you complaining about? Then to go on and say that at the age of 25, a man should be told how he's supposed to act based on the idea or feeling of a woman, or a woman that he's dating, or a woman that he's in a relationship, or whatever the case may be. No, it is not your place to attempt to tell him who he's supposed to be, or how he's supposed to act, or to change him. Because here's the thing about it. Women have said it for years and years and years on end. Don't try to change me. I am who I am. All these other things. But you go in with the same very mindset to try and tell a man who he's supposed to be. Now, you knew who he was when you met him. He held up to your ideas or expectations, or maybe you just made a bad choice in that matter. But there was something that actually brought you into that relationship. Is it on you then to take a look at yourself and be accountable for the man that you actually have at that point in time? Yes, he's going to grow and he's going to change, and that will all come in time and with age and with experience and a great deal of other things. But what you believe should be, really, it's not valid to who he is. You took him in that way. Now, to have a discussion to say, hey, this is where my issues, where I have issues, where they lie, where I feel like we're at a disconnect or whatever, that's great. But you're not teaching him how to be an adult or how to be a man. That's not what you're doing. You're trying to mold him into whatever it is you want him to be. And sometimes, on a greater scale of times, it's not a good idea at all, because he is not one of your girlfriends.
I'm of the belief that most, if not many, Black men are born into misogyny. And you laughing, but I'm dead serious. And at the end of the day, until that behavior is unlearned, you're going to be trash to me. Every time, like there have been instances where—
Wait, you're going to be trash to me until that's unlearned? Because you're a Black man, the greater deal of Black men are born into misogyny, which is absolutely asinine to say. What form of facts is she basing this on? Especially considering, if we have to take a look at it, who's then teaching them to be misogynistic? Is it the mothers who are raising a great deal of black men, the fathers who are raising the black men when they are present in the household. Because as we know, a lot of deterioration has happened within the family unit as a whole, but it's taken a great toll on the American community. So to say that essentially is to say that these individuals' households are misogynistic by definition, based on what though? Because a man is actually taught that he's supposed to adhere to a certain standard, which a greater deal of women don't like to admit that they hold that man to as well. Let's go ahead and let her finish. That's a different point.
Where a story of a woman is raped comes out. Here goes a black man. Instead of defending your sister, well, I just think she shouldn't have been there. Why was she wearing that?
It's not about defending the sister. We have to go, really, you have to take it to that route. It makes zero sense that you have to take it to that route. It's not about defending a sister. What it is looking at the validity of the statement, the case as a whole. Because nowadays, especially, we've seen too many times, by far too many times, where false allegations and accusations have been made concerning the R word, which, I mean, you know, I'm allowing them to say in the videos that they've gone through, but it's not something that, you know, I want to say for whatever reason YouTube has an issue with. I mean, you can say fuck and just about anything else but that. But just because someone has a different opinion or a perspective or an idea based on a specific situation, which remind you, proven it's innocent until proven guilty, though we don't live by that standard. But somehow you decide that all individuals, all men, all black men at that, are trash. I'm going to have to say there's a little bit of an issue there, because then that goes into the relationships that you step into or when you interact with a black man. Are you automatically hostile because of the fact that in your head they were born into misogyny? And when you actually look at what misogyny is, or let me correct myself on that. When you look at what male privilege is that brings it to this whole ideal of misogyny, that male privilege is shared by typically 1% of the male population here in the US. It's not on those men who are out there working their asses off. No, it's the people who own and run the corporations. But then again, even if you look at it from a larger standpoint, where is it misogynistic because of the fact that you run or own a business and dictate who works for you? More qualified men have been bypassed in the workforce due to the fear within a corporation that their hiring tactics, their hiring guidelines are misogynistic. Well, you know what? We've got a staff of 85 and 78 of those are men. We have to get more women in here. Is it a problem to hire women? No. Is it a problem to pay them the same as a man? Absolutely not. But it should be based off of performance, which is what work typically is based off of. Misogyny, male privilege, wage gaps, all of these things are being put hand in hand. When in fact, if you sit down and actually talk to individuals, the real problem is that they just hold some form of bias in their head that comes from, random videos they've seen. People who are talking about their own specific instances in life, not basing it on any facts. Is that not a problem? Oh, this one here. Yeah, I know what this one is.
That we like did things that we would never do if
Screaming,
we were...
crying, like, yeah.
Did you smash anything? Did you?
No, I didn't. I don't have that in me. No, I just went like,
oh my God, sorry.
I just meant like I went over, like I just went over there and just started like screaming and like crying and just being like, what? And then I got back with him a day later. So.
Oh, so you got back with him?
Yeah.
You got it like that, yeah?
I don't know. In my head, I like justified it because he didn't actually like do it. That I know, that I know of.
that right there, as the other girl is speaking of the accountability she had to take on at the age of 5 years old. This is a grown woman who's sitting here speaking of the fact that she went overboard and quote unquote acted in a crazy manner with no actual justification and still won't take accountability for it. And that's what that video is. It may look like I actually got a whole bunch of videos that were on women who were bashing men or saying how badly men are trash, but there's no actual videos on men saying how women are trash. Well, here's the reason why. You would be hard pressed right now to go onto YouTube and a greater deal of areas and find something that men are sitting there bashing women saying that they're trash. Because guess what happens to men that do that? They're canceled. They have no opinion. They're not allowed to have that opinion. Women can get away with it. It's one of those female privileges that you all have. When people speak of male privilege, it's absolutely crazy because what you consider male privilege, what you consider, men having ruled the world or currently ruling the world. First of all, women are absolutely, when it comes to the power scale, it is weighed in females' favor by far today. It has been for quite some time. Everything in the media shows it and says it. But yet, they'll throw men under the bus in a heartbeat. Whereas the same men who have that privilege, things of that nature, are the very men who built a greater deal of the things that you actually have that allow you to live a comfortable and suitable life. When it comes down to it, all of these terms that are getting thrown around, especially that male privilege situation, is more of the idea that you deserve more as a woman because you are a woman, though you didn't have to work for those things. That's called socialism. To be on the same level, to be exactly the same in all areas, in pay, and different things of that nature, without having to actually work for it. And we don't live in that form of society here. What we need to start understanding is that, yes, there are differences between us. We don't take on the same jobs. We don't take on the same ideas when it comes to how we live our lives. Women expect men, the greater population of women, and I am not saying all women, but the greater population of women expect men to carry a conversation, expect men to be the ones to approach them first, expect men to be the first one to call or to message. Why is that? But somehow it's an issue that the standards of how men are paid and how they work and everything else, based on how we were inherently brought up to work very physical, laborious jobs, to do things that are quite dangerous in the workplace, to be there 40 plus hours per week, to take on things that a greater deal of women don't want to take on. Somehow that's a privilege. It's not. It's simply what we were taught to do. That's it. And so we do it, no matter what the task is. We both have privileges on both sides. Women have their privileges, men have their privileges. There are groups of men that have greater privileges than what the rest of men in the United States, because that's what we're talking about, the Western culture, the Western civilization. They have greater privileges based on their wealth and things of that nature than what the rest do. But a privilege as a whole of women is to be able to go out. And I'm saying this right now after having a conversation with a young woman about this very thing. She cracked me up because she was like, oh, you don't understand how much it happens. The ability to go out with $0 on hand and know that within a 15 at max 30-minute period of time, you're going to have free drinks, that you can walk into a club absolutely free because you're a woman, that you can go and do certain things and there will be no consequences, or your consequences will be lesser. And I can say this because of the fact of knowing certain things with the criminal justice system, and knowing especially of a couple of individuals, females, who, if they were men, they would be throwing them under the prison for what they did. And also the very ability that when you walk into a courtroom on a greater scale, when it comes to family court and divorce court, everything is in your favor. I'm going to have to say that's a lot of privilege, but there's tons and tons more. And on the other end of it, men have their privileges as well. But it's not the shit that you all like to, to throw out there. The very fact that you get the ability to go online and say that men are trash is a damn privilege, considering the fact that any man that calls a woman trash or says anything about her looks easily gets canceled. The real fact of the matter is that people just really need to take a look at themselves and realize who they are, what they're doing with their lives. If you can better your life, do so. Why does it require that you go off and you bash another gender for the faults that you may have as an individual? And I mean that in the essence of, if you've had a bad relationship, if you felt you were done wrong, and it's been over and over and over again, you might want to take a look at yourself on some level. You might want to realize what it is that you are actually bringing into your world. Because I can guarantee you a great deal of women have had very good men in their lives. But what they turn around and do is take out all of that aggression from the other relationships and bring it into the one that they're in. And now all of a sudden, that man that was a good man, that swept her off her feet, that actually treated her like a queen, is trash, right along with all the men who did some horrific shit to her. But hey, you know what? Hopefully we can all do better, be better. And if you ever have anything that you want to discuss with me, whether male or female, I'm always open to intelligent conversation. But that's the end of this video. I'm the show Bullet 8. Thanks a million for watching. Please go ahead and like the video. Please leave your comments. But you all know how this goes. For now, I'm out.